I created a eBucks update video on EMEA Premier account, FNB Premier account, and now I'm going to create one for the FNB Private Wealth, which is probably the most difficult to get to level 5 at the moment, especially if you're not going to take up any debt or any life insurance. I'm going to go through the rules. If this is applicable for you, it's very difficult, and the main way is to have a lot of savings. Okay, so firstly, before we go ahead, quick disclaimer, none of this is any form of advice. Use this information at your own risk. So as mentioned before, we're going to go for private wealth, FNB private wealth. In terms of eBucks, it's probably still going to be worth it, but you have to do that calc to see if you are on the FNB private wealth and whether performing an additional actions actually results in more benefits than cost from your side. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to show you how you can get to level 5 just based on the new rules, and that's all. There are changes to the benefits also from November, but I'm not really going to go into that in detail. This is only about how you can get to level 5. From eBucks perspective, two things to make clear is firstly, there's eBucks points that allows you to level up. I just have to change this to 13,500. For private wealth, you need 13,500 to get to level 5. You cannot spend eBucks points. For the second thing is eBucks. This is what you actually earn, and you can spend this. Just to show you that it's still really worthwhile to get to level 5 for private wealth clients, and that is based on this percentage back in eBucks. If you spend at clicks, it's 15%. Now, just to make it clear, you will notice that some of these percentage back percentages are the same as the Premier account. Bear in mind there is spend limits, and also on private wealth there's a higher threshold on your annual discounts. So even though the percentage is the same, you will be able to get a higher amount back because you're on a higher level. Okay. So in terms of clicks, if you spend with virtual card, you get 15% back. Clicks Family Day for qualifying virtual card, 15% back. Okay, Spa is also 15% back. Pick and Pay virtual card, 20% back. Pick and Pay ASAP virtual card, 30% back. Clothing, 20% back. Still very good percentages. Fuel, you get 4 rands back on level 5 per liter. If you have finance with Westbank for your vehicle, 2 rands back per liter. If you have short-term insurance with FNB, another additional 2 rand. So in total, you could get up to 8 rands per liter back, which is actually a good percentage. Okay, GuardMe 100%, ARC virtual card 30%, video streaming Netflix 40%, music streaming Spotify 40% back, FNB life insurance Protect series 15%, FNB life insurance life customized 40%. Obviously, this video is primarily based on how to get to level 5 without life insurance and debt. So if you already have life insurance with FNB, then it's really easy for you, much easier for you to get to level 5. Okay, and then just remove this. Foreign exchange 50%, that's on the fees, I believe. Device and appliances are 100%. So this is a part where private clients and private wealth will also be higher than Premier. I think for Premier it's up to 40% on level 5. Connect SIM plan and prepaid bundles 15%. So you can see it's still worthwhile to get to level 5, and you do get quite decent percentages back. And yes, it is more difficult to get to level 5, which I'll show you. But if you already have debt or, let's say, life insurance with FNB, it's actually not that difficult for you to get to level 5. Okay, firstly, we're gonna go with income deposits. Similar to the Premier account video, now there's also these new requirements. This is also not much has changed from July. So if you already meeting the July rules, then it shouldn't be that much difficult for you. So if you want to get 3,000 points, you have to meet requirements 1.2 or 1.3 and 2. So 1.2 says you have a minimum monthly deposit of 32,500 into your RMB Private Bank Fusion current account. So 32,500. Typically, you could have your salary paid into the FNB account. And then 1.3 is have average deposits over 12 months of at least 32,500 into your FNB or RMB Private Bank Fusion current account, FNB Single Facility, FNB Global Account, FNB Channel Islands, etc., etc. Okay. So if you've not been depositing your salary into your FNB accounts, you would probably not be able to meet 1.3 because it takes an average deposit over 12 months, but you'll still be able to meet 1.2. And then meeting 2 is actually requirement number 2 is actually not difficult at all. This is debit transaction requirement. Initiate at least 10 debit transactions on your FNB Private Wealth, RMB Private Banking, current or Fusion account. So yeah, that's not difficult. And so 3,000 points, relatively simple points. I'm going to count that at 3,000 out of 13,500. Second, digital banking, also not really difficult criteria. View the Track My Rewards tab on the FNB RMB Private Bank app every month. Used to give you 1,000 points, now it's only 250. Or bear in mind, it's just a click of a button, so I can understand why they reduced it to 250. Okay, so easy 250 points. Pay your bills using FNB Private Bank on FNB. So if you are paying your bills with FNB Pay Bills on the FNB app every month, then and it's above 4,500, then you got 1,000 points, easy, right? Have at least 3 budget categories set up in smart budgets, or engage with my net worth, or engage with your credit status monthly. 250 points. It's not a lot, but it's easy tasks. And then maintain a healthy credit status on NAV money with a status of light green or dark green. So if you have debt with FNB, make sure that you're not in arrears in any of them and you're in good standing and you have decent amount of savings. That will allow you to get 1,000 points at least from digital banking. If you are using pay bills and it's above 4,500, that's another 1,000 points. But for this purpose, I'm just going to count 1,000 points. So that's 4,000 now. Next, we have save and invest. So saving is always a good habit to have. So whenever you get your income, just pay yourself first, save or invest. Okay, grow your FNB savings or retirement investment accounts by at least 5,000 per month. Interest, profits, and other returns are excluded. It's double points if you grow both your savings and retirement investment accounts by a minimum of 5,000 each per month. So that's not difficult, and I think it's a good habit to save, especially if you are FNB private wealth client. To save 5,000. Savings account includes all cash investments, excluding fixed deposits. Okay, and retirement investment account includes retirement annuity, pension and provident preservation funds, and living annuity. Okay, so I'm going to count that 1,000 points, so that's 5,000 points. And then in terms of my cards, have an active FNB Private Bank Fusion account with a credit limit and an active card, or have an FNB private bank credit card account with a credit limit and an active card. So if you have Fusion and credit card, that's 2,000 points. And I don't think this is necessarily difficult. You just have to do the calcs to see if it makes sense. And also if you are able to control your spending, because if you can't control your spending, then it's probably not suitable for you to take out a credit card or a Fusion account. But if you can manage your spending, 2,000 points will be easy to achieve over here. And then use your virtual card for 80% of both your qualifying in-store and online spend in a calendar month. That's not hard. Always, whenever you are spending, use your virtual card. 2,500. So you got 7,500. We passed our halfway point. Now comes the question, if you really want to get to level 5 on this level, I know it's going to be very difficult without debt and insurance, and the main thing you can do is more savings. And yeah, it's going to be difficult, but let's still go through the rules just for illustration purposes. So firstly, in terms of savings, maintain a minimum monthly balance of at least 60,000 across your FNB savings account that are accessible within 7 days without incurring early withdrawal fees. So if it's between 60,000 and 119,000, let's go 120,000, 120,000. 500 points between 120,000 and 180,000, 1,000 points. And if it's above 180,000, it's 1,500 points. Now, that is a lot of money. So if you're able to save that much in your savings pocket, money maximizer, 7-day notice accounts, that's 1,500 points. Have an FNB savings account with a term longer than 8 days and maintain a minimum monthly balance of 60,000. So I'm assuming you're not of retirement age, but if you are, then it's easy to get these points easier. So if you have, so what applies over here is a 32-day notice account, or it could be a fixed deposit, 60,000 to 120,000, 500 points. 120,000 to 180,000, or 60,000 to 120,000 with retiree solution. Okay, that's 1,000 points. 180,000 or more, 1,500 points. So I'm going to also go for that, 1,500 for illustration purposes. So that's 3,000 points over here you can get, but you will require a lot of savings, and it's not easy. So that's 10,500 points. And then tax-free savings account, I think that's definitely something that you should be doing. The only issue here is if you have a tax-free savings account elsewhere, then it's going to be difficult. But if you don't, and you think FNB is a suitable provider to have your tax-free savings account, then you could easily get 1,000 points by contributing monthly 3,000 rands or 36,000 total contribution in current tax year. That's 1,500 points. So I'm going to count the 1,000 points, 11,500. We're almost there. Then, in terms of savings, you may also want to have offshore banking. Have a FNB global account with the required minimum monthly balance of 3,500 Australian dollar, euros, Great British pounds, Canadian dollar, or USD. So go for 3,500 of each of these. Australian dollar will probably be the cheapest. And yeah, so if you can achieve that, it's 1,000 points. Fund your FNB global account from your FNB private bank, fusion, or current account to the value of 18,000 over the last 3 months. So that's like 6,000 conversion every single month on average. You get 500 points. Okay, so count 1,500, 13,000. Now for the last 500, and also maybe to add a buffer, is you need to have a minimum monthly balance of at least 300,000 in one of FNB's retirement products via the FNB investor platform. So these could include, okay, so here's qualifying accounts. You could have retirement annuity. Okay. You could have pension and provident preservation funds and living annuity. Must be held in an FNB or Ashburton fund. Okay, so if you are able to get to 300,000, it is again a massive number. And yeah, that's why it's so difficult for clients which are on FNB private wealth to get to this level right now, if you don't have insurance or debt. And if the balance is above 500,000, then that's 1,000 points. So that's a buffer in case you don't want to fund anymore in your global accounts, or you don't want to do a particular action previously. But again, the other thing to mention is if you already have debt with FNB, that's already additional points that you can contribute towards uh, getting to that level 5. Okay, so it is difficult, and yep, try it out, read through the rules in detail, see if there's other actions that suits you. Maybe, for instance, that you really feel the FNB insurance premiums are competitive, and the net effect is actually you do benefit from it, then you might want to consider insurance. Otherwise, yeah, it's not easy. And I'll catch you on the next one.